Are you live now on Facebook? Thanks, Kevin. Welcome, Facebook people. We're so glad to have you here tonight. Hello. We are also on Instagram, so we're like all over the place tonight, which is super cool. We're going to be this show is called Everything Matters, and thanks for joining us tonight. While people are kind of getting settled in, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the show and kind of the heart behind it in a little bit, but just while people are kind of getting settled in and finding their spot on the couch or where we were at or in your kitchen watching it on an iPad or whatever, I thought we'd just kind of start talking a little bit. We had this question talking about heroes. Ty brought it up earlier, was like, who is your favorite superhero? And even you guys can comment to us and let us know who your favorite superhero is. But I'm going to start with you, Ty, while we're waiting for people to come in, because you had a very interesting and very you kind of response to that. So
Wouldn't anyone's individual answer be very them?
yeah, it's true. But you're just very unique with this. Like when you said who your favorite superhero was, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Ty.
If you've spent any time in my office, you've seen my Rocket Raccoon collection.
Rocket Raccoon.
I love Rocket Raccoon.
From the, what movie?
Yeah, he's
From the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of
stuff.
the Galaxy.
Just an angry little rodent
An angry rodent.
that rebels and has mixed feelings about everything. And he's got a couple great lines where he talks about not having asked to be made and remade over and over again. And he's a weird character.
Yeah, he is a weird character. I think I lost the picture of you for whatever reason, Travis. That's okay. Maybe if you went to another program, we lost you.
What about you, Aaron?
I'll join you again.
Superhero. I've never been a huge superhero. My kids are like Marvel, like out, like crazy, man. My son especially, like he probably educates me on the superhero thing. But I think growing up, the movies and the one that I really liked was Superman. I was totally a Superman guy, and I love even some of the new Superman stuff that come out. Some people kind of dogged on it, but I really liked it. So I don't know. That was the one growing up that I related to. I know I'm probably creating tons of controversy
I
by
would never
saying
have
that.
pegged you for a Superman.
Really?
He's so boring.
I know, but I think it's just kind of old school. It was just kind of.
They had to invent vulnerabilities.
See, this is why I'm so lost. You know? Yeah, I get you. Yeah. But I think probably it was just my first recollection of superheroes was watching like in the 80s. They had those like Superman movies.
Yeah.
Those ones.
He was the original.
Right. And so
Sure.
that was like the ones that I think I kind of jumped into. So what about you, Trav?
For sure, mine. I put it in the comments, which is probably when my video stopped because it didn't like my comment. But I said, Lego Batman is by far my. Yes, not Batman. Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. That is extreme.
Yeah, there's something about his portrayal of that superhero is something I identify with greatly. He's trying to keep those emotions down, but when he's home alone in his mansion and cooking up his dinner, he's got songs in his head and melodies and he lets them all out and he fights around. He doesn't fight just one villain.
I'm never surprised hanging out with you two. I always get these really weird answers, and you didn't disappoint, and I really appreciate that. So
You're welcome.
hopefully we have more of that tonight as we even get to theology and some other fun stuff. So, hey, if you're just joining us on Facebook or on Instagram, thanks for joining us tonight for Everything Matters. We've just been kind of hanging out talking about some superhero stuff. We're going to get into unsung heroes tonight, but Everything Matters is a show we've been doing every Tuesday night, and it's been a lot of fun, a bit of an experiment. But for me, the idea that everything matters comes from this idea of caring for people and connecting with people emotionally, practically, and spiritually. It all matters. I think Everything Matters has been a bit of a response for me to a lot of the Christian stuff I grew up with. It was only spirituality and that's it, and we just talked about that. There's so much more to life. So I wanted to have a space and a place to kind of mesh all those things together And so for me, that comes out in artwork and music and all sorts of things. And so that's where the term everything matters comes from. So I hope it's something you can bring your friends to, you can hang out with, and maybe it's their introduction into our weird Riverbend, our weird, fun, loving Riverbend community. So that's where some of that comes from. So tonight I want to start off. We're really going to be talking about unsung heroes, and I got my buddies here to help me play tonight. So I get to play my drums, which is like really fun for me, really exciting. We're going to play a song from the Foo Fighters and called My Hero. Super cool song. A little bit of the history of the Foo Fighters. I'm a child of the 90s. Like 90s rock is where it's at for me. And so Nirvana was like one of my favorite bands, like all time. Just loved Nirvana. And I remember in the 90s when it went from like the hair bands and like leather pants to all of a sudden flannel and Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and those bands were just great. You guys may not remember that as much. Do you guys remember that? Yeah?
I
You
wasn't-
feeling it?
I
Yeah, the
wasn't
Pearl
allowed
guys.
to watch it.
You weren't allowed to watch it, okay. So definitely my world. And so Dave Grohl was the drummer for Nirvana, and just loved the band. And then Dave Grohl, after Nirvana and what happened with Kurt Cobain, he formed the Foo Fighters and started writing songs. So for every drummer like me, we've dealt with like drummer jokes for all of our life, like the dumb drummer delivering pizza. Dave Grohl is like the hero because he went from like being the dumb drummer to like the real musician, right? So a little bit honoring that tonight. So one of my music guys that I love, that I just really respect and love. So we're gonna start out tonight playing some Foo Fighters. So sit back, hope you enjoy this, and we'll have some fun with it. Too alarming now to talk about. Take your pictures down and shake it out. Truth or consequence, say it out loud. Use that evidence to race around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. Don't the best of them bleed it out, while the rest of them peter out. Truth or consequence, say it out loud. Use that evidence to race it around. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. Kudos my hero, leaving all the mess. You know my hero, the one that's on. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. There goes my hero, watch him as he goes. There goes my hero, he's ordinary. thank you, Travis and Ty,
Yeah.
for coming and doing that. It's so fun. I love you guys. So glad you got to do that. Hopefully that sounded good on Facebook. I have no idea how it sounded on Instagram Live, but hopefully it worked okay. So if you're just joining us, we just played a Foo Fighters song that I love. I'm going to try to get some comments up here and make sure we got you connected on this. So, hey, I wanted to start tonight, kind of frame our discussion, and I really want Travis and Ty to kind of be a part of this with me tonight, but I wanted to start tonight by talking about a guy named Stephen, who's highlighted in the book of Acts, in Acts 6 and 7. And you see Stephen, this guy Stephen in Acts 6, he's really the guy who's doing a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. In fact, his whole purpose is kind of say, hey, in the early church as it's forming, he said, hey, I'm going to be the one that's going to keep this thing going. Hey, all you disciples, go out, do your thing. Do what you got to do for God, and I'll keep things running. I'll feed the widows and the poor, and I'll, with my group of guys, we'll keep it all going. And he really takes that and does that. And then this new group of people, this new sect, if you will, called Christians, starts kind of rubbing the system the wrong way a little bit. And you see the religious folk in the system, the Sanhedrin, and these other guys, not happy about the Christians at all. Just not happy about it. And so they pin Stephen as a guy that they need to go after because he's obviously one of the ones helping the church go pretty well. And it basically culminates into this very climactic scene, like you'd see in a superhero movie or somewhere else, where Stephen ends up standing in front of the Sanhedrin and basically kind of laying it out to the religious kind of people who are running everything at that point. And so I want to read the scripture to you, and hopefully this will work so I can see it here, because I got my laptop. But at the end of this whole thing, this is what he says to this group of people, and it's so rebel to me, and that's part of this whole program too. Like, I see so much of Christianity and my faith and so much other stuff of being somewhat of a rebel, and whether you're a punk rock rebel or a cowboy rebel or a whatever kind of rebel, just a misfit, an outcast, or someone different, you connect with that rebel attitude. Those are the things I connect with too, and I see that in Stephen. So I want to read the scripture to you. And
Do you want me to underscore you, Aaron?
Yes.
You want to?
Yeah. It needs to be really like, oh yeah. So this is so good. If you want to get your Bibles out and go to Acts 7. That's joking. Okay, so this is what Stephen says. He says, you stiff-necked people, your hearts and your ears are uncircumcised. Ooh, that was a big one. You're just like your ancestors. You always resist the Holy Spirit. Was there ever a prophet or an ancestor that you did not persecute? I mean, he's going after these guys, giving it to them. They even killed those who predicted the coming of the righteous one. Now you have betrayed and murdered him. So he's calling them out for all the stuff they did with Jesus. You who have received the law that was given throughout the angels, but have not obeyed it. So he's really like calling these guys out, just right to their face. Just a total rebel, kind of unsung hero. And basically what happens is the Sanhedrin, the guys are pissed off, and they take him out of the city, and they're like, that was cool. This is very nice.
You're welcome.
A little musical interlude for our scripture there.
Yeah.
So they take Stephen out of the city, and they basically start stoning him. And they're like, we're going to kill you. And in the middle of it, Stephen, instead of being like all mad and crazy, he says, hey, I look up, and he says, I can see the face of Jesus. And he actually has this at the very end. So he fell on his knees and he cried out, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. So there's this kind of climax of this, and there's this picture of Stephen that is really taking it on the nose for the church at this point, and kind of standing up for it. And then at the end, the people who are killing him, he says, hey, God, don't hold it against them. Like a really amazing beginning of this of the church. Really, you've seen this is the story of the church. So we're going to get back into that, but I wanted to ask you two guys, because Stephen is really the hero in this story. He's the unsung hero of the early church. He really is. Yeah. And he's really considered the first martyr. Tell me some people in your guys' lives. I'd love to hear who are your heroes or your unsung heroes in your life. And even on Facebook and Instagram, tell us who your heroes are, or even some attributes of those heroes, so we can see what's going on with you, that we can respond to you. But let's start with you, Travis. Who's your kind of unsung hero?
Yeah, I feel like I've got a few unsung heroes, but when I thought about this and just the scope of who an unsung hero could be in my life and what an unsung hero kind of represents, in a strange way, the person for me that's an unsung hero is someone that, for all I know, would never even find this stream or feed or be on here. It's
Right.
not like I'm calling someone out. It's actually my neighbor that lives across the street from us. His name's Greg Cooper. He goes by Coop. And
Coop, I
he's
love that.
Yeah.
Should we have an alias for Facebook?
Too late
Maybe.
now.
Yeah.
It's live TV.
Yeah.
Jeff. It's just Jeff.
It's just Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Coop
doesn't
is
go by
way
Coop.
better than Jeff, dude.
I lied about his name. Don't go looking for him.
Yeah.
No, but he's awesome because he's in his late 50s, but he's retired. He's a retired school teacher, but he also is got to be the most active guy I've ever seen in my life. Every day when I get up, and I could get up at 6 o'clock in the morning getting my son ready for school or what have you, and I will look out our front window, and his truck's already gone because he's running this side business where he's now doing yard work for widows who don't have the ability to take care of their yard.
Yeah.
And he doesn't charge them a lot, and he's just keeping himself busy. But he's out all day, and he gets home after I do, and it's not so much that he's a workaholic. I have a lot of good conversations with him when he comes home or as I'm going out to work, the thing that hit me, the reason he's a hero of mine, and it's not so much that it's like I'm struck by awe and wonder of how amazing this guy is. I think the thing that hits me is I get a daily dose of inspiration from him, and he has no idea. Like, I just get to watch him and go, I get to just absorb his drive for staying active, his drive for taking care of people, his drive for providing for his wife still, even in his retirement. And there's something about it that I've never had to tell him. I've never gone to him and been like, you're such an inspiration or you're a hero to me, but he's just done that for me
Yeah.
in a unique way. So,
I love that.
yeah.
And that's a great example. And it's like fresh and new and part of what's going on.
Yeah, I've only
here.
known the guy 1 year.
Right, but it's already impacted your life that way.
Totally.
It's super cool to see that. And I think there's definitely these connections of a guy like Steven connected to someone like Coop, who I'm going to call him Coop. So super cool. I love that. Ty, tell me, and we had a discussion about who this was, and I hope
Thanks,
you'll say
Brad.
who it is because I think it'll be really powerful. But
Yeah.
tell me,
So I just gotta confess.
Yeah.
I am so nervous right now
don't be nervous.
because I'm never on this side of the camera.
You're
I'm
great.
always in a booth looking
one of
You always
ragged.
get nervous, but
directing
everybody
everything.
loves when you talk about stuff.
Yeah.
They just, because the realness of you, Ty, is,
They say that
is
for
beautiful.
encouragement.
well,
If
no,
you
because
just-
it's real.
If you just picture everyone in their underwear.
Yeah,
you're good.
exactly. But give me your hero.
I don't want to do that. Yeah. So my hero is actually my unsung hero is actually in this room. It's Kevin. Kevin Hedges, our creative arts pastor.
Oh, Kevin, I
Yeah.
don't know how to play the dun
I
dun
knew that
dun
was coming,
music.
Kevin. I didn't tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know we're going here. But I just go, I look at someone like Kevin, and he's literally a professional punching bag for artists.
I've seen it.
Like, he stepped into the role of shepherding just the most unstable people on earth.
Right.
And I am one of those people. And he's been kind of a mentor and a shepherd for me for the last, like, 15 years. It's more than that, probably. It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time. And he's had to play wise counsel and father and friend and for all of my crazy dysfunction. And he has helped me greatly over the years kind of stabilize and smooth my rough edges. And that's very much a work in progress. Still, it'll always be a work in progress for me.
Right.
But especially when I get to surround myself with other creatives now, I get to share and imbue some of that kind of wisdom with other people.
Right.
And that primarily comes because I was raised by artists. I was not raised by people who were like, yeah, you should watch what you say.
Yeah.
Your language affects other people. It was always like, if you need to stay up till 5 a.m. screaming at a wall, you just do that, son. That's great.
A lot of freedom in that.
Lot
which
of
is
freedom.
Super cool.
And so, but not a lot of function
Right.
in that, right?
And so Kevin's helped you with a lot of those things.
Oh
hasn't
my
he?
goodness.
Yeah. I've watched it, and I've watched Kevin.
I used YouTube.
YouTube was your parent. It helped you out with those things. That's good. Well, I appreciate that. I think those heroes in our life, those unsung heroes, they kind of ebb and flow, and they kind of come and go. I think, like you said, sometimes it's unexpected because it typically is something kind of behind the scenes. And I think for me, I've had like one of the weirdest couple months of maybe my life. The last couple months with some stuff in my own life personally was really difficult, and something I'm never going to get to on camera. But my uncle Wally, he's been one of those people in my life that throughout my life has always kind of just been right there when I needed him, and I feel that in this moment that even this last couple months he's been one of the guys, like the first person I called when some things are going down in my life. I was like, I got to call my Uncle Wally. Yeah. And he's just been consistent. And I have these stories from me growing up. When I was little, I was like the first grandchild of all the kids. And my uncle had like either Camaro or Trans Am. It was yellow. I don't remember. It was one of those two things. And I used to sit on the council, like the big council between the two seats, which is like totally illegal now, but that was like 1978 or something like that. So they didn't care about laws then, whatever. So, but yeah, I think my Uncle Wally has been one of those guys in my life that has been just consistent and kind of an unsung hero sometimes in my family. And I think I've recognized that more as I've gotten older, which has been really cool to see that kind of grow in that part of our lives. So, I think these unsung heroes is a lot like Stephen. And Stephen, one of the things I see in this scripture when I'm looking in Acts is that he put the church and other people before himself. And he was like committed to love no matter what. He was like, this is what's going on, like even to the point of death. Like he believed so much in his convictions that he walked out of the city and got stoned for him. And that's how much he believed in what he felt like God wanted him to do. Total behind the scenes guys. But I want to ask both of you guys a question because I think it's relevant to this subject. This is a little bit of a left turn, but it's hopefully we'll wrap it back around. Who are the people you really struggle with in life? And it could be very general. And just to be careful, like if you're one of those people tonight online, don't be offended. I may be one of the people that you're like, man, I struggle with guys like Aaron who are punk rock and whatever else. But hopefully there'll be a good discussion here. Who are the people you struggle with or even just flat out piss you off? And let's just talk about that because I think I want to hear from you, and I want you to be real. That's a part of Ty's kind of scared to do that. But I'll start with you, Travis.
Yeah, cool. Let's start with you, Jack. No. I'll go. I feel like this season exacerbates some of these people for me, but or highlights them more so for me. And it's anybody that first off, these aren't like enemies. They're not people I hate. It's just the people that maybe I have the hardest time getting to grace to, arriving at grace for these people. I inevitably try to get there, but these people are probably the biggest hurdle for me to get there. It's people that...
It's a good Christian answer.
You're welcome. I'm a pastor.
Very pastory of you.
People that jump to conclusions about things, and in doing so, become the authority and the voice box for, in my opinion, what could sometimes just be fear. I guess a good example of this would be, and you can call it fake news or whatever you want to call it, but if someone gets very attached to something that they see and they feel like they need to post it regardless of, without putting it through a really good filter first. and not realizing potentially the harmful impact that some of those posts have. And that, to me, is somewhat offensive just because I feel like we spend a lot of time trying to help people not be so offended by things they read and see. You know, we're trying to unwind people
Right.
from the things that
For
they...
sure.
So the people that are causing that, sometimes we go, I wish we would use some common sense in posting.
Yeah.
Once again, if you're one of those guys that posts all that and
Yeah.
whatever it may be,
I've been that times in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm honest, I've been there sometimes.
yeah, and that's
so.
why I
Yeah.
disliked
But
you for
there's-
that season.
Right.
of
First,
your
yeah.
life.
We didn't even
Yeah.
know each other, but you didn't like me then.
I was like, whoever this guy is.
All of us learn from some of those things.
There's intense spiritual value in just taking a breath,
Yeah.
right, and not reacting right away.
Yeah.
So what gets under your skin, Ty? What gets you?
So I had an answer earlier, which is still kind of true. My gut reaction was like hoarders right now. It's
Right.
killing me.
Yeah.
It's killing me, but I say that and I've got a full pantry at home.
For
So,
sure.
Like,
So, yeah,
I don't know
you
how
have
much I'm hoarding versus not.
Fingers
like
pointing
current
back at
hoarders,
yourself,
like
right?
pandemic
Current
hoarders.
hoard-
Like,
yeah, not like-
I can't buy flour hoarder.
Not like TV because I'm a sentimental hoarder.
I was
So I've
gonna
got
say,
boxes
Ty,
in my
I've
garage.
been in your house.
Yeah, I got weird stuff in my garage that people are going to walk through when I'm dead and be like, why did you keep that? No, kind of the hoarding out of panic, the response in panic. It's a lot of
Yeah.
kind of what you were saying, Travis.
Sure.
I was thinking about it more and going, honestly, for me right now, I feel like everybody is my enemy
Yeah.
because I'm so thin from all of this
Yeah.
that I already kind of naturally am frictional with people, and so
Mhm.
I have very, very little reserve to like take that breath and be gentle and not be like, let's cut straight to the chase
sure.
and be direct. And so,
Yeah. And that's why I asked that question.
and I'm super irritable too. Ask
Yeah.
my family. Don't ask my family.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and I've heard stories of like roommates struggling right now
Oh,
with
I'm
each
sure.
other. You and I were talking about that earlier, Travis. Just people just having a hard time with each other, getting angry. I've seen things where domestic violence stuff is up. Like lots of stuff where just people are struggling with each other. And I think the story of Stephen for me, and I have it too. I mean, you catch me in the moment, like with even I have a neighbor, and I'm not gonna name who it is, but they get under my skin. Like you catch Pastor Aaron in a really bad moment. You're like, ooh, don't put that on Facebook because it'd be ugly, right? And I think this stuff that's going on with us has heightened all that to where we're really feeling that with people, and so that's kind of part of this thing. When I look at the story of Stephen, and this is what I want us to get into, to kind of land it here is, I look at the story of Stephen. This guy had every right, and he's the unsung hero. He had every right to be like, as they're stoning him, you guys suck. You're horrible. I mean, he challenged them, but I mean, he could have just continued to do that in the whole thing instead of, but man, he's like, God, don't hold it against him. Like there's an immense amount of grace and love even in that moment that is so, it's revolutionary.
He modeled Jesus.
Yes, it's
Like
revolutionary. It's when I look at Jesus, and we're talking about Holy Week and those other things, the rebellious punk rock part of Jesus for me is that he comes and says, it's all different now. Like, I'm going to love no matter what. And to me, it's easy for me to love the unsung heroes in our lives, right? Like, Kevin is an easy guy to love because he's super cool. My Uncle Wally is amazing. Coop, I'd love to maybe hang out, have a drink with Coop. He's probably a cool dude. But what's really hard, I think, is moving past that in the unsung heroes to really, if we're really going to following Jesus and following his footsteps, he's saying, I'm loving the people who are hard to love. And it's modeled in Stephen. And to me, that a lot of the stuff that we talk about and think, it's a bunch of crap if we can't get there. I mean, to me, like, if we can't, what are we doing here with Christianity if we can't get that place that says the hoarder, whoever it is, whatever your group is, whoever that is, we can say, man, how am I going to love them? Because it's kind of all fake to me. I don't know, what do you think about that, Travis? How do you feel about that? How's it hit you?
It hits me well. I'm digging where
You're like, whoa.
digging where you're taking it. I just love that I was kind of, when you had asked the question originally about when you posed it to us before we even went live, I was kind of curious about where we would even take it or where you were going to land.
I try to keep a little bit surprised.
I
to
know,
knock
which
you
is
out.
good, because then even it's like live and revealing to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's good, Aaron. I like that.
Now
Yeah.
give us your thoughts.
All right, I'll hop to you. What do you think of that?
I think it gives me a lot of hope, because I think it's easy to look sometimes at the person of Christ and be, when you break past all of the awe and amazement and like just how unexpected and uncanny his character is, I think it's easy for us sometimes to look at him and also go, dude, I could never do that. I could never be that person or be that way, because life just sucks a lot. And then you have someone like Stephen, who literally channels Christ on the cross, right?
Right.
Forgive them because they don't know what they do.
Right.
And Stephen's echoing that, and you go, okay, well, if other dudes can do it,
Right.
maybe I can do it too. I don't know.
Well, I feel like if we can't at least start heading towards that and try to embrace that,
Yeah,
the whole church thing is just a facade.
yeah. And it's crazy because when Stephen does it, right, he's literally being stoned.
Yes.
Like
Literally dying.
that's hitting the fan hard,
Right.
right? I mean,
Rocking
this
your
is-
face, dude.
This is like crisis response, and his
Mhm.
crisis response is to have mercy on his attackers. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's easy to talk that game, but that's what I was, right? The last 4 weeks for me
Right.
have pitted me against myself and other people, and I wish I was responding like Stephen.
Well, yeah, and I've had my moments too, and I think this is where I keep landing with the scripture and with Stephen and thinking about our church and our society right now is like how I respond in crisis and how I'm responding to my family and responding to the people around me and online. Like you shared, Travis, is like I have an opportunity to continue to be more like Christ, like what Stephen, I think, was trying to do, but I also have an opportunity to kind of show who Jesus really is in this thing. There's so much messaging out to me that the church and Jesus is like this thing. It's all messed up and weird, and there's a lot of shrapnel with it. But to me, the heart of it is this. I mean, the Holy Week right now, Jesus goes alone and prays and is like, God, this is heavy, because he knows what it is. And I just hope that's something that lands with some people. And I want it to bring hope too, because it brings hope to me too.
Yeah.
I feel that for sure.
Yeah, hope for sure. It's hard though. Like this season is so. We talked about it this morning. We had a pastors meeting, and one of the things that was really revealing to me that makes this so challenging is like that I have certain love languages that I feel like the distancing makes it hard for me to, because I'm such a good like in the moment, live in person kind of guy,
Right.
and so it's. The challenge for me right now, even though I've got this hope, I have to start wrapping my head around the how. Like, how do in the pastor's meeting, Paulette was sharing with us how difficult it is for her to care for people that are in a hospital because she can't actually physically go to them, hold
Right.
a hand, be part of
Yeah.
what they're doing.
It's crazy.
So when we're talking about loving people in the midst of going through whatever, the people that we're not getting along with the greatest or whatever it might be, the thing that hits me the hardest is I go, I'm having to learn how, because I can't actually get in person with that person, like get in touch and be like, we need to hug it out. I'm good at hugging it out. Mm-hmm. Let's make that, and right
We
now it's
can't.
like, I
Can't.
can air high five you from 6 feet away. That's
know.
what I've got right now.
Hmm.
So yes, it gives me hope, but it also challenges me to go, what is my response going to look like in this current season?
Yeah, Norm said a while back, they'll know we're Christians by our love, which is
Easier said than done.
easier said than done. But I think part of like what's behind what Norm is saying there,
I see 1L on there too. Love you, 1L.
I think part of what's behind what Norm is saying is like and this is I think where Stephen was at, right? When our love of Christ is so strong, when that presence of God is so strong within us, then it just pours out of us, even in those moments of crisis. And
Yeah.
that's real convicting right now.
It is. Some old buddy Bart Gross on here from Riverside. It's good to see you on there. Go ahead, Travis. I don't want to cut you off. Sorry.
It was Ty speaking, but we sound the same, so
You
I
do
don't
sound the
fault you.
same. You do. You do for sure. Well, thank you guys for kind of talking this out with me. I think a lot of these kind of concepts are, like I said, easier said than done. And it's sometimes, we grew up in church like this, the Sunday school lesson, like, oh, here's Stephen, or hey, did this, or they'll know we're Christians by our love. But now I think in the crisis and a lot of this stuff, it's real. It's not, it's like the things that we do and say and how we're interacting and how we're emotionally handling this, it all matters. Like we're saying, everything matters. It really does. And, I just hope we can respond in a way that really draws people towards who Christ is, even in our imperfection. Like, I'm gonna lose it at different points. So are you. But that grace that kind of wraps that whole thing up, I think,
Yeah.
should be something that comes through in this. And I think it's a pillar, obviously, it's a pillar of our church. That's what I love about Riverbend, obviously. The things we connect with, for sure. So thank you guys for hanging and talking with me about that.
Heck yeah.
Amen.
And love to hear more of your comments. I see Katie's on there on the thing. Nick Laughlin, my buddy Nick Laughlin, haven't seen him in a long time.
Doa Nowler.
Yeah, so thank you guys for being with us. Make sure and invite friends to be a part of this. Just to give you a quick announcement, we have Carlton doing some hymns tomorrow. Then Dave and Diane will be doing Habakkuk on
Yeah, they're wrapping up.
Thursday. Then we have a special Immerse service on Friday that you don't want to miss. No, Immerse. Special Good Friday service on Friday. Right?
That's it.
I looked at the comments
Okay,
because
that's good.
It's
Good Friday.
we
Good
got
Friday.
that instead of Immerse.
Instead of Immerse. That's what I got it right. I'll get there eventually. Frank Colley. I see my buddy Frank Colley. Seriously, I love every time I'm online. I see Frank, and it's like I feel like I'm at home in Riverbend. It's like wonderful. So we have those kind of things, and obviously service coming up too. So we got a lot of great things coming up. You see all these other things that are happening with kids things, all sorts of great crafts. My wife is at home like testing all the crafts out and then posting them. So like I'm like Grand Central Station for all the kids crafts that are going on and being posted about, which is super fun.
Todd's been sending out great stuff.
Todd's been doing an amazing job. Our whole staff, I got to tell you guys, this is just me getting to brag on our staff for a little bit. If you're here and you're watching in any one of our forums, I said to we had a group staff meeting thing the other day. I just love our staff at Riverbend, and I'm so thankful for them from top to bottom. What they're doing and how they're helping people care for people through this time is amazing. Some of my unsung heroes, before we get to a closing song, is my missions buddies, and all of our churches just doing a great job. Youth, children's, Paulette with Care and Counseling,
Me.
Travis, he's got the big hair.
Winning.
I have no hair, so I don't get to do that.
Should have seen it this morning.
It was out of control this morning.
We should play a song.
So have all that, but I want to also thank my buddies out in the mission field who are all around the world feeding people and doing things. Again, the missions pastor part of me, if you want to check in with a Riverbend Outreach and some of the things we're doing, please see that and I want to thank all my volunteers and friends who are out and doing some cool stuff. So hey, I want to close kind of now become standard is closing with some sort of hymn. And I've had some people kind of give me grief about playing hymns, but I don't really care. I'm going to play what I want to play. And if you don't like it, oh well.
Ever the rebel.
Yeah, this is not the everybody is happy show. This is me doing what I want here. So what I've done, taken this song in the garden with my buddies here, and I'm making them be kind of punk rock, which is out of the element, but they're really good musicians, so it's okay.
Woof woof.
But a little bit of Elvis-ish in there, maybe. I don't know if that's a good description of it. I don't know. That jacks it up. A little bit of punk rock. It's just weird.
I know Coldplay.
Mike, you know Coldplay.
I got no Elvis out of our rehearsal.
Yeah,
so I'm
that was
really
a
scared.
reach. I'll come too. That was a horrible Elvis impersonation too. But my grandma's probably gonna roll over in the grave, me playing this way. But Who cares? This is Rebel time, so this is my version of In the Garden. Hopefully this helps you prepare for Holy Week. Let me get my words up so I don't jack it up.
Sorry in advance, Aaron's grandma.
Okay, here we go. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear calling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me and he talks with me and tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. All right, here we go. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet. The birds hush their feet, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me and he talks with me and tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And he walks with me, he talks. Yeah, I am. And the joy we share as we tarry, none other has ever known. Sorry, I lost my voice right at the end. Sorry, Grandma. We had to jack up that hymn and do something to it. Hey, Riverbend, we love you. We miss you. Enjoy your family this week and love the people around you. Be a rebel, whether you're a cowboy or a punk rocker or whatever you are. You're Travis and a rebel, whatever you are. Do it and do it in the name of God and honor Jesus and all that stuff. So thank you guys for being here. We love you and miss you. Talk to you soon.